Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue the FL Studio series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com/FL Studio. Today I'm going to guide you through your first New York East Coast style hip hop beat, and I'm going to guide you step by step, so just follow these steps and you'll be good. Now I can't explain everything about everything, that's just not realistic for these videos, or else this video would be 5 hours long. So I'm condensing this and you can always learn more along the way. So firstly, we're going to open up the channel rack, and our goal now is to select sounds. So let's open up our browser, and under packs, we're going to use all stock stuff, and I'm going to show you how to make the stock stuff sound a little bit better. Go to packs, let's go to instruments, and we're going to pull up a piano. So I'm thinking like the Nas style piano. Let's go to keyboard, and let's pull up the grand piano, and just right click, open in new channel. Alright, so now that the piano is loaded up, go back to your channel rack. You can get rid of the sampler here by just right clicking and deleting. It's empty anyway. Now for the grand piano, I want you to hit Alt M so it hides or reveals this little dash. What this dash is a routing mechanism, and we can route this sound to our mixer where we can add effects. So let's left click and just drag this up until it says 1. If you don't see that, just click on your grand piano, go to your cog icon, and in the top right you can see which track it's going to here. And you can even click the track icon to assign it to a free mixer track. I'm not going to get into all the little nuances about everything. Just make sure this is on 1. Okay? Because it's so easy to overthink when making beats. Alright, so let's kind of create our piano idea, and then we'll get into the drums. So let's close out the browser so it's not a distraction. Now let's open our channel rack back up. We're going to right click on grand piano, and let's go to piano roll. So you want to think for the New York gritty sound, even for the West Coast sound, you want to think really low octave piano. And it depends on how they sampled the piano. Again, I can't get into everything about everything, but if they didn't sample the piano where somebody was hitting the keys really hard, it wouldn't have a gritty tone. Like if they played low notes but played it really soft, it's not going to have that same it's not going to have that hard gritty sound. So anyway, it really depends on your instruments. So let's scroll down. If you don't see these notes on the left, I highly suggest going to your piano roll options, go to view, and go down to where it says key labels, and I want you to click on all notes, and that's because I want you to have an easier time following along. Okay, so once that's done, if your pianos look bigger or smaller, you can use this top right icon to make them smaller, or you can use control and actually control doesn't do anything, I forget what I just said, but you can zoom in and out with control and using your mouse wheel. So now that we're in these lower octaves, you can hear that gritty bass. Okay, so let me put my headphones back on. So let's start on D2 and leave the volume as it is. We're going to fix it over time. Now for New York classic hip hop, we're going to go to about 84 BPM up to about 93 or 96 is really high. So let's start somewhere around 84. And we're going to turn our metronome on, so just turn that on. And I want like a bouncy bone. I'll show you how to get that bounce. Now let's change our magnet here to 1/4 beat because we have to get a little more microscopic in this tempo. Now don't worry about the kind of robotic, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Reserved timing. It's going to sound very robotic right now, but I'm going to show you a technique to make this sound more realistic and swingy. So we're going to go D, add a short note D here. Now if your notes are screwed up, just hit Alt, left click, and drag the velocity until it's normal. And now we're back here, okay. So you can see the beat's a little slow, so let's crank up the BPM to about 93. Let's start at 91 before we go to 93. So notice a lot of half steps here. I don't want to talk too music theory-nese, but a half step is when you go from one note directly to the next. So we went from A sharp or B flat right to A. That's one note away. And that creates the tension that you need for the aggressive sound. Now notice what we call this in Melody Magic, which is our course on melody at busyworksbeats.com/melody magic, and the link's going to be below, this is called an anchor melody. We're playing the same note. All we're doing is changing the notes up here. So we're always returning back to the D. That's what she said. Pause. Okay. So all we got to do now is just get the right timing. If you're struggling with timing, turn on your metronome. Okay, so our ear wants to hear something different about every 4 bars. It doesn't always mean that your melody has to change every 4 bars, but in this case, I do want the melody to change. So let's hit Control, left click, and highlight, and let's hit Shift, left click, and drag so we can copy our whole segment over. And let's do this 4 times, or not 4 times, but until we have 4 bars. And to count the bars, it's 1, and then you see the number 2 here, 3 here, and then 4. So let's hit Control, left click, and highlight, and then hit Shift, left click, and drag, and the bottom note should always say D in this case, and you hit right click to unselect or deselect and hit spacebar. Now I just want to play something different on that last one just so it feels like a difference. Now, if you want to make this sound more realistic, I can show you a couple techniques, but again, I'm not going to waste your time going through all the little nuances of how to play, okay? Because then we're going into the nuanced stuff. So every time the note goes boom, 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 I'm going to turn that, let's highlight these. Let's hit Control, hit Shift, and I'm going to left click and highlight all these short notes here, these short little D notes. I'm going to highlight those, and then I'm going to hit, where are we at? I'm going to hit Shift and then left click. So for example, let's say I want to lower the volume all at once, and I appreciate the commenter, forgive me for not remembering your username, but you showed me, because before I used to right click and there's no way to get it even, okay? But if you hit Shift and select the level, you can hit Shift, left click, and it will drag it to the proper velocity and it will all match, okay? So I didn't do that for a long time, but anyway, here's what it sounds like. It has a little more like a drum feel. So now let's X out, and I want to show you the magic here of FL Studio. There's so much you can do with this. Anyway, if in FL Studio 20, they've added stuff, but anyway, this was here before, but it's in a different spot. We're gonna use the main swing knob here and turn that up. Now it goes dun, ba-dun, 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 whereas before it was like boom, 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 boom. Now it's like boom, ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, bum, ba-bum. So it turns the booms, boom, 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 into ba-boom. So it goes boom, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And that's the difference. And now we have a nice swing and a nice vibe to it. So since we're on kind of the vibe of the piano, let's go to our mixer now, which is this icon. And we routed it to mixer track 1. So now we can add effects to the piano. But before I do this, I'm going to go inside the grand piano, and sometimes they already have effects on it. In this case, under program, we're going to turn off FX reverb because I want to add my own reverb. So let's go to our mixer track here, and let's grab a parametric EQ2 under slot 1. And all I'm going to do is just pull the 7 up. It's going to make me feel like, or make the perception feel like I'm hitting the keys harder. Now this is a more advanced technique. I just want to try it out first. It may or may not make the piano sound better, but let's open up Fruity Limiter under slot 2. Let's go to compressor mode. And again, this is more advanced, so I'll have the project files for free, just in case you get lost along the way. Let's pull our threshold down. Turn your ratio up to about 4:1. And to read the values, you look in the top left panel here. So it's about 4.0 to 1. Let's lower our threshold a bit more. Then we're going to turn up the makeup gain knob here. Gain. So here's without the effects. Here's with. I don't like that. Bing. But let's figure out what that frequency is. So this is a little more advanced. I'm going to grab 0.6 and use my mouse wheel to make it like a tighter Q, it's called. Or you can use the bandwidth knob here. And there's like a ting, there's like a shiny thing. Ding. I just want to take that out because I don't like that frequency. So it seems like somewhere like this whole section here. So it's definitely somewhere around 3000 hertz. I wish I could pull this down further, but I can't. So in that case, I'm going to use another knob. Now I'm sacrificing some frequencies, but I'd rather get rid of that frequency than have it in there and have the detail. So I'm going to grab 0.4, kind of pull back some frequencies here. But I don't like that. Ding. Anyway, that's more of something you don't have to do. But let's go to slot 3 and let's load up Fruity Reverb 2. Here's where the magic's going to happen. We're going to grab this SEP knob, which stands for separation, and we're going to pull it to the right. Actually, did I do it? Yeah, pull it to the right, which is going to create a mono reverb. Let's pull up the wet level and add a little bit of decay, and then where it says L cut or low cut, grab that until it says about 400 hertz on the top left. Let me see if I can find a different note. It might just be that we're playing a certain velocity. So this is a little bit beyond the scope of the video, but it's bothering me to the point where I don't like it. So let's hit shift. There we go. And now we got rid of that. Bing. Okay, so when they were sampling the piano, something happened where they sampled another resonance or frequency. So now I don't have to do that annoying EQ thing. Actually, I hear it still, but it's not as evident. So now I can pull back. Again, this is beyond the scope of the video, but I'm just showing you what my thought process is. So now I don't have to EQ as hard at that point. Go back to your reverb and turn the wet level down. Now what I'm going to do is grab the EQ. Let's add another in slot 4. Let's add a parametric EQ2. And let's pull up 0.7 again. Go back to the reverb, just pull down the decay a little bit. Now if you want to get really cool, go back into pattern 1, and then you can add like a chord at the top of this. Like just the note D or whatever chord. Let's add this in here. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I just want to hear what this sounds like. So to do this, I'm hitting Control to highlight, hit Shift to duplicate. I know I'm moving a little fast, but this is more of an experimental thing than a guaranteed. Yeah, it sounds pretty dope. So let's grab this, hit Control, and then I'm going to hit Control up. So the notes are really far apart, but that's what makes this cool. I don't like that bing. It's throwing me off so bad. So what I might do to compensate is pull this up 1 octave. Just to get rid of that tone. But we don't have that same grit. But I'd rather get rid of that tone than leave it in there because it's super annoying. That ding. So let's grab these notes, hit Control, and then let's hit Alt right to just micro nudge these notes a little bit off the grid. And if you zoom in, you can see it's not perfectly lined up. So if you have any overlap, just like I did, grab the slice tool, hit shift, hit right click, and just make sure that nothing goes into that 5th bar, because if it does, then it will continue playing. I'm gonna finagle with the, I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm gonna move the compressor a little bit, the attack knob. Mess with the reverb a little bit. Let's cut out the highs as well. Actually, let's add the highs. Nah, the reverb's way too long. Oh, I know what I forgot. Okay. Use your mouse wheel to scroll down a little bit. And this is optional, you don't have to do it, but on slot 3, let's add a Fruity Blood Overdrive. This is going to add the grit to the piano, so pull back your post gain before you start touching stuff. Trust me. Now turn up your preamp. This is going to add that like distortion grit to the sound. You only want a little bit. In this case, I don't want too much of it. So now it sounds like we sampled it from a record. Okay, now it could sound better. I'm not going to spend a day and a half on mixing that to the perfect T. Let's go to our song mode. Let's go to our playlist. And let's grab pattern 1 here and left click and drag it inside the playlist. So now we have the piano laid out for 4 bars at a time. Let's just left click using our paint tool and just drag it out to about 16 bars. Now we're gonna kind of cheat with the bass, not cheating, but it's just super easy. Click the plus, go to your channel rack, click the plus icon, go to 3x OSC. We're gonna turn off volumes for oscillators 2 and 3. Go to your wrench tool, go to your cog icon, go to your wrench tool, click on mono. And what we're gonna do is go to our grand piano in pattern 1, hit Control C to copy the MIDI, go to pattern 2, using your mouse wheel, just left click and drag up. And again, we want to send this to a new mixer track, so we're going to left click and drag this to mixer track 2. Make sure you highlight 3x OSC, hit Control V to paste. Now click inside the green window and you'll see the notes again. Now all I'm going to do here is scroll up with my mouse wheel, hit Control, grab those top notes and just delete them. So now all we're copying is the bass. Now go to pattern mode so you can hear the bass. So that's too high of a bass, so what I'm going to do is hit Control down. And this is just going to support the track a little bit underneath. So let's X out. Let's go to our playlist window. And let's grab pattern 2 and just drag it underneath. And let's go to song mode now and hit spacebar to play. So now it feels like a big thing. Let's go to our channel rack and pull down the channel volume a little bit. Here's a trick. We're going to grab the grand piano, go to your cog icon in the top left, go to your wrench tool, and then turn up what's called time shift. This is going to move the notes a little bit off the grid to the right so that they have a little bit of a delayed timing. So they don't feel like they're strictly on the grid. And you want that kind of loosey-goosey feel. I know I'm saying all the cliche phrases, but you want that loose feel with these New York tracks. Let's go to our browser now and let's scroll down until we see packs. And let's see if we can find some drums that are texturized so that we can create some cool drums. Let's go to drums and I'm just gonna see what kind of kicks they have. You can use the 707. This one's cool too. Let's use the 22-inch kick. Let's right click, open that up a new channel. Let's make sure we're sending this to a new mixer insert, which is mixer insert 3. Go to your mixer and under insert 3, we're going to grab here and let's open up Fruity Soft Clipper. Turn your threshold all the way up. This is basically a limiter so it doesn't clip. Go back to your channel rack, click on the 22-inch kick, go to your wrench tool now and turn up your volume under level adjustments. This is going to boost the volume up, and we need this so that it hits the limiter and compresses and it creates this really big sound. But be careful here. Let's go back to our mixer and just pull down the fader for the kick just so it doesn't get too loud. Now let's go to pattern 3 and let's start creating a kick pattern. So what I like to do is drag a blank pattern into the playlist and left click and manually drag it out, because you can hear stuff as you're playing the track in the background. It's just the best way I found. Go to channel rack and left click on your kick. And now we want to boom. So boom, tap, 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 boom, tap, tap, boom, tap, tap, tap. Sound like Jay-Z. Ta-ta, mama. So New York kicks are all about the swing. So swing is automatically applied to everything unless you turn it off. And you can turn it off now in FL Studio, I think 12 and above. So click on your kick under your wrench tool, under the this one, you can go to swing and you can actually change the amount of swing applied to this sound only. So if you don't want swing on your kick, you can turn it off. And that's very helpful for a lot of different reasons. So the trick is just having 2 kicks back to back and having that swing parameter up. Very simple. Now go to your graph editor, which is this up and down like chart looking thing, and go to velocity. And every time I have a kick before a kick, I go boom. So it goes ba boom, ba boom. It's called a ghost kick. So let's just turn the volumes down on those. Turn our kick up. Now I'm going to go back to the playlist and just make sure I have the kicks going all the way through. Hit Control S a lot. Okay. So our track already has an identity. I'm going to go to the mixer here and just turn down the piano a little bit. Now we need a snare that matches that kick's vibe. So let's go back to packs. Under drums, let's go to snares. I need like a there we go. Perfect. 707 rim. Let's right click, open that up, new channel. Make sure we send this to mixer channel 4. Mixer insert 4. And let's go to slot 1 under mixer channel 4. And let's add a Fruity Soft clipper. Same thing, turn your threshold all the way up. And go back to your channel rack, find your snare now at the 707 rim, go to your wrench tool and turn up your volume. Same thing we did with the kick. Now be careful here. What I like to do is just turn the fader down so that I don't blow my ears out while we're hearing it, and then I can turn it up later. So go to pattern 3, and on the 2 and the 4, if you don't know what the 2 and the 4 means, turn on your metronome. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the 2 and the 4, we're gonna add our snare. Now sometimes you want to add a little time difference between the kick and snare, but in this case they just sound really good together. But most of the time, if you want to make it a little bit more human, go to your kick, go to your wrench tool, and turn up what's called time shift. That added a nice what's called groove. Groove is the difference in timing between multiple elements. I'm gonna crank my volume on the snare a little bit more. For the snare, it needs a little more reverb, so let's go to slot 2, add Fruity Reverb 2. And we're gonna keep it in the same texture as the piano. So let's turn our separation knob to the right. Now it has a very subtle reverb, and it's in mono, so it's not distracting. If it's too much reverb, just turn your wet level down a little bit. Now we need a hi-hat, just a t-t-t-t. So let's go to packs, drums, hi-hats. Let's see what kind of hi-hat. I'm gonna use my up and down arrow on my keyboard to cycle through. Oh, here it is, right here. There we go. AMX CH1, right click, open that up, a new channel. Let's send this to a new blank mixer insert. Insert 5, mixer channel 5. And in our mixer, all I'm going to do now is go back to not pattern 4, mixer channel 4. You see where it says Fruity Reverb 2? We're going to click the drop down arrow, hit save preset as, left click and drag it over top of mixer channel 5. And it will copy the same settings as the snare drum. So now the hi-hat will have the same vibe as the snare drum. Now for me, I like separating my hi-hats on a different pattern. So let's go to pattern 4 here and just go to our hi-hats and right click, fill each 2 steps. Now that we have that, let's go back to our playlist, which is this icon here. Left click and drag pattern 4 into the playlist. Let me clear my throat real quick. Okay, so you can see the hi-hat's a little out of, it's too robotic. It's too early. So let's go back to pattern 4 in the channel rack. Go to your hi-hat, go to your wrench tool, and then turn up time shift. Now we have that swing, that humanized feel. Now if you want it even more human, go to your graph editor and just turn the velocity, click on velocity, turn every other hi-hat velocity just down a little bit. It can be random. to hear what it sounds like an octave lower. I kind of got used to it in this octave, but I want to hear what it sounds like in its original. Doesn't even sound the same, so I actually like it in the higher octave now. Super simple. Now I can get into transitions and all that type of stuff. There's a lot to beat making, but this is how you get the New York sound. Thanks for watching today. You can download these project files for free with the link below. Or if you go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio, that's how you download these project files. Thanks for watching today. It's busyworksbeats.com, and you can learn more about FL Studio in the FL Studio series right at busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thanks for watching today. Please like the video so we can help more producers around the world, and let me know how to improve these videos and what you want to see next in the comments below. And please share with your friends. Don't hoard the knowledge. Help them out too. Thanks for watching. It's busyworksbeats.com.